Hello everybody, welcome to Speak Votomi. Thank you so much for joining me. If it is your first time here, you are absolutely welcome. Yeah, you know what to do: like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with somebody who might need it. So today I want to talk about my most favorite person on this whole planet. Yeah, but we'll do that shortly after this. Speak Votomi, let's go. Today I want to talk about my grandmother. She literally just turned 70 a few weeks ago, and it was the most beautiful thing to witness. I mean, the plan was to pitch up a tent by her house and have her friends over and whatever, but thanks to Corey, unfortunately we haven't been able to do that, but it was still a beautiful day. And we were just grateful that we were at level 2, so then we were able to have my aunts come over. So literally all her children were there, and her grandchildren as well. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. So her birthday was on the Tuesday. So on the Tuesday we had like a small lunch with just us. And then afterwards on the Saturday, that's where we called in my aunts and my uncle, and they came through. It was so beautiful. Literally, I wanted to go all out. I knew that I wasn't given like a major budget or whatever, but I knew that I wanted to make it very special for her. So yeah, we had the deco set up by yours truly, thank you very much. It was, and literally all that deco was stuff that we either had, and the only thing that I went to go buy was like the balloons, and that was really, really beautiful. Then we took lots of pictures, and we just created very, very beautiful memories. And just to see her that happy made me so happy. We said a few speeches, and what was beautiful about all of that is that we were able to say all of this while she was still alive, while she could still hear it. And for me, I just knew that every day after 70 is literally just a blessing from God. So yeah, it was the most beautiful day to witness, to be honest with you. So that actually inspired me to do this video then, to say 5 lessons that I've learned from my grandmother. We can start with the first one, as I've already touched on it, to say that you need to honor people while they're still alive. Like, I was so glad, and that day just made me realize that it's good to give people their flowers while they can still smell them, to say that you love them while they can still hear you, and all of that. So many times we wait for somebody to go or to pass away, and then we share all the beautiful things that we have to say about them. But just the beauty in honoring her while she can still hear us, while she's still alive, and just creating all of those memories, honestly, that was so amazing to me. And the second thing that she has taught me, and this is not something that she taught me like in words, but it's something that she does every day. Sometimes I'm not even sure if she even understands like some of my dreams or my plans or whatever, but literally her support is the best thing. She literally, I'll go to her room, and I'll be like, yo, Gogo, there's so much work to do. And she's like, girl, just go work so that you can pass and that we can celebrate together. She literally will not ask me any questions. She will just throw encouragement at me. And I think it's so beautiful, because I know that no matter what I do, I have her support regardless. I really thought that because I dropped medicine at some stage, that she would be sort of disappointed or whatever. But she had none of that. For her, she was just like, as long as you're doing something that you love and that you're going to excel at, and that I'm gonna watch you thrive in, then for me, I'm happy. And yeah, that made me so happy to know. And yeah, we were sitting in her room the other time, and she was just telling me stories, and I was listening to her, and honestly, she makes me laugh like no one else on this planet. And as we were sitting, she was just telling me stories, and we got to a place where we started to talk about my Mkhulu. So the story with her and Mkhulu is that they divorced quite a while ago, but they had such a beautiful friendship. And I asked her about it, and I was like, but like how? But like, how is that even possible? And she basically said to me that one of the things you have to do in this life is you have to forgive. You really have to forgive, because my grandfather would come over and she would cook for him and she would give him food, they would laugh, and then he would go and he would leave. And sometimes like he would go to Limpopo, and when he comes over, the first stop he'd make is by a house, because he knows he's going to get a full meal, and he's also going to just receive good company and whatever. And this always like used to baffle me, and she says that you can't, what's the translation now? In Zulu, it's to say, yeah, direct English, like you can't hold people with the heart. I don't know. But basically what she was teaching me is that when you forgive somebody, you do it for yourself. You don't do it for the other person. You had so much peace within yourself and not, for them. So she literally was telling me, and I was like, no, Gogo, like I'm learning, because I know that this is one area of my life that I actually, I struggle in. So for her to encourage me and to tell me that this is something that you should do, is something that I was, just something, it was good to know that she was telling me to do something that I watched and saw her do and that she lived by. So that was honestly one of the most beautiful things that I have learned from her. And another thing is to love people. My grandmother is so welcoming, is so loving, and I think I always blame it on my personality to say that no, I'm introverted, I'd rather keep to myself. But I think she shows me that like there's so much that I'm robbed of if I stay in my comfort zone. So my comfort zone says no, I'm gonna stay in my room, I'm gonna keep to myself and whatever. But just witnessing her life, I see how much I am missing, when I'm constantly keeping to myself and not sometimes engaging with other people. So I remember the one time when she was in hospital, and this is actually 2018 she wasn't well, and we really thought that, like at some stage we thought this is the end of it, but God being faithful, she's still here with us today. But in that time that she was in the hospital, because she was there for a really long time, she eventually went to a rehab center where she was getting physio, occupational therapy, and all of that stuff. And when I tell you, like, she was best friends with like almost everybody, from the nurses to to the people that would help her get to the other room, to the physiotherapist, to the occupational therapist as well, to a point where the physiotherapist, she was doing her internship there and she was in her last week there. She came and she even gave my grandmother a chocolate, and she said, you were literally my favorite person, and her heart was so sore to say that she's leaving. But that's because of how friendly she is and how beautiful she is. She loves to laugh. She treats everybody that she knows either as her siblings, as her children, and I've literally just seen and witnessed like the spirit of Ubuntu in her. And that is just an amazing thing. And I think it just reminds me so much about Jesus, because when you read God's word and read what is in the Bible, you realize that Jesus was for everybody, and he loved people regardless of who they were or how they acted, and she is just a loving person. And then the other thing that she has taught me is to admit when you are wrong. And this she taught me in the sense that when I was sitting with her once again and she was telling me all these stories about when they grew up, she would mention how this Jesus thing for her was not a thing. And so when my mom got saved, she was kind of still in that wavelength to say, nah, like, what are you doing? You're gonna go to that church where they scream and they shout and whatever and all of that stuff. But a few years ago, this is now what she's subscribed to. And she comes and she tells me the story, and she says, you know what, like, when I said all of those things, I was wrong. And it was a long time ago, obviously, but I think there's so much beauty in being able to admit when you were wrong, There's so much humility even in that, to be able to say what I thought then versus what I think now is not the same thing, and I was wrong then. I think that is such a beautiful thing to be able to do. And I think what I love now the most is when you go to her house, if you go there early in the morning, the first thing that she will do is you will find her, reading the Bible. Then afterwards she'll be reading, the newspaper, or you'll find her praying. And you know, that just shows how humble that she is, to say that once upon a time she was against, you know, being Christian, but now this is her life, and you can tell that it's something that she chose for herself. And I think it's just a reminder, you know, to me, that we can't Bible bash people, and we shouldn't do that. But literally, you can plant seeds and you can live a good life in the way that my mom did, and she's able to see the benefits of, you know, following Christ. And, you know, therefore she was able to witness all of that her whole life. And when she decided to change, literally nobody could have stopped her. And she continues to teach me so many things. That there's so many things that I constantly continue to learn in this time, even just sitting with her. And I think that's, as much as I'm not grateful in a sense for COVID-19, but I'm just grateful for the time that it's given us with her, because she's been with us, you know, with us here at home for like the past few months, just to make sure that she keeps safe and that she's, you know, she's protected. But I'm just grateful for the time that we're able to have, where I can, you know, listen to her stories and we can laugh, and at the end of it all, she can teach me the lessons that I need to learn. And I mean, I'm learning to honor her while she's still alive, and to honor people around me while they're still alive. I'm learning to admit when I'm wrong, to forgive, and to love people. And more than anything, I am feeling her support so much. So this video is definitely not to brag or to make other people feel as though that they might be less because they don't have their grandmother around. But I just wanted to share these amazing lessons that she's given to me, and I hope that they are lessons that you can apply to in your life. Thank you once again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, you can do so, and please do share this video with somebody who might need it. Till next time, keep well.